Hi everyone. Um, just going to run through quickly a few things that we need to do to make sure that our machine is well set up for doing web design and web development. Okay. To begin with, we want to make sure that the OneDrive app is running. We'll be using OneDrive for storing all of our files. The reason being that the OneDrive app will helpfully synchronize all of your documents to the cloud so you can then access them from anywhere. It also acts as a kind of a backup. All right. The reason we want to use the OneDrive app rather than the web browser is because it does that work of uploading files that you make or that you change to the internet, to the cloud for you in the background. You don't have to remember at the end of the class or the end of your work session to manually upload things via the browser, via a web browser. Okay. All right, so to make sure that the OneDrive app is running, just have a look up here in the menu bar and you should see an icon that looks like this. A little cloud icon there. Distinct from the Creative Cloud icon, which you should also see up there. Okay. All right, if you can't see that, then the OneDrive app is not running. Probably the easiest way to launch it, especially if you're new to the Mac, is to come down here to the dock, to this icon, the Launchpad icon. Just click on that and come into the Launchpad view. And you can see all of the different apps that you have on your machine. You can flick through them using your dots and locate the OneDrive icon here. You can also just type in here up in the search bar at the top, just type in ONE, and you can find it there. And if you click on it, that will launch OneDrive. Okay. Now, if you have a look, I'll just close this window here. OneDrive has helpfully opened a Finder window for me, but we'll come back to using Finder windows in a minute. If you see a little black circle with a kind of an X in it, that means that there's either a problem synchronizing files or, more likely, you just haven't signed in yet. Okay, in which case you just click on that icon. There'll be a sign in button there. So you just sign into OneDrive using your TAFE credentials, your TAFE email and password. Okay. So that's process of getting OneDrive running. Now, we also need to do some configuration to get the Finder working in ways that are ideal for working with web folders and websites. So I want to come over to the application menu here for the Finder. See this up here in the top left-hand corner. And come down to this item here, the settings option. If you're working in an older version of macOS, that may say preferences. Current versions will say settings. But these really are the same thing. Okay, so I'm just going to click on that, open up the settings window here. All right, so we want to come through to this section, the advanced section here. And just make sure that this checkbox is on. Mine is on. It says show all file name extensions. By default, that is off. So you do want to switch that on. This is handy not just for web development, but for all of your design work. Because in Finder windows and when you're in open and save dialogues, it will show the file extension, that little full stop followed by a bunch of different letters, which tells you what kind of file you are. A Photoshop file, for example, will have a .psd extension. And the HTML files, the web page files that we'll be working with, will have a .html extension. So you want to make sure that's on. One other thing I like to do, this is not so crucial, but I do like to do this, is down here it says when performing a search, make sure that it's going to search the current folder. The default is search this Mac, but if you search the current folder, that's more useful. Okay, so that'll do for now there. So I'm just going to close that there, close that little window. I'm now going to come under the File menu and create a new Finder window. All right. That's also Command N is the keyboard shortcut there, just to open a new Finder window. And so we have a new Finder window here. By default, your Finder window might look something like this. Okay, this is just showing my home folder here. But this view is called Icon View. I think this is not particularly useful. If you double click on there, that might show me folders in here like this. Not particularly useful when you're working with folders within folders within folders. Okay. A much more useful view, I think, is either this one, List View. Okay. So I can open up a folder like this here using these little disclosure triangles. Or in fact, even open up folders within folders and so on. Or this particular view. This is my favorite, the preferred one, which is column view. All right, so this is much more useful because when I click on a folder here, I can still see where it is over here, and then it gives me another column here, and I can dig through the various folders within folders within folders. Okay, and sometimes when you're building websites, you will have this kind of situation. This is a WordPress site. It's much more complex than the kind of things we'll be doing, but you can see how many folders there are within these and how many files. And you want to be able to navigate through these things quite readily. Okay. So to make sure that you're in column view, just click on that icon there. You can also go up to the View menu and choose this option, Show View Options. Okay, so that brings up a little option sheet here. You want to make sure that these ones are checked. Always open in column view and browse in column view. Those are pretty useful. Okay, so if I close that, make a new Finder window, that should open up. Ooh, it's supposed to open up in column view. It didn't because I had it in icon view before. All right. A couple of other things that are worth doing. We want to be able to, under the View menu, go down here and choose this option, Show Path Bar. Okay, and that shows a little path through to the current folder here. All right, so that's the name of my hard drive, users folder, and there's my home folder there. So when you're working with building websites, this is pretty handy to have. Okay, and it's going to be pretty handy in a minute because what I'm also going to do is to put my OneDrive folder over here in the sidebar so I can access it throughout everything I'm doing on the Mac, opening and saving files or working in the Finder alike. Okay. You might also, under the View menu, want to set up this option, Show Status Bar. This is pretty handy. Okay. So if we have a particular document here, it'll give me some information about that document. All right, so what we want to do is to come back up here to the OneDrive icon in the menu bar. I'm just going to choose this option, Open Folder. Okay, so that'll open my OneDrive folder. Again, I want to look at that in column view up here. All right, and you'll see that with the path bar active, little thing down here showing the OneDrive. Now, what I can do is actually just using my left mouse button, I can just click and drag that over to the sidebar here. So I can always access my OneDrive very directly there without having to go up to the menu bar and locate it there. So that's particularly handy, as I say, for opening and saving files. The other thing, while I'm in here, while I've got my OneDrive folder active, is I'm going to make a folder for this unit. I strongly recommend that you do that, and in fact do the same for all of your other units too. But particularly for web design, it's very important that you keep your work very, very organized. So I'm going to go up here to the File menu and choose this option, New Folder. Okay. I could also right-click in here and choose New Folder down there. And I'm going to just call this folder Web Design. You could use the unit code. You could call it Make a Small Business Website, the actual name of the unit, or you can just do what I've done here. Okay. And I'm going to right-click inside here, make a new folder. I'm just going to make a new folder for our first website. So let's call this folder First Website. Something very logical. Okay. And in here, I'll be storing all of the various files and so on for building out our first website. That's what we'll be covering next time.